We can't keep living in the future, because if you're only going to be happy in the future, once you get to that point, there's still going to be something else in the future that you're looking forward to, and you won't be able to be happy when you're at your destination. Hey girl, welcome back to my channel. My name is Trinity. If you're new here, today we're going to be doing a chit chat, get ready with me. While I do my makeup, we're going to talk a little bit about how to romanticize your life. This video is going to be all about learning how to appreciate our present moments and to not be so hyper focused on the future and making the best out of what we currently have. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit about that, just keep on watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, especially if this is not your first time here, and let's get into it. Oh, I'm gonna pin my hair back too because we don't want that in the way. If y'all see me looking down, I'm either looking in the mirror or the monitor right here. So in case you've never heard the term romanticizing your life, I'll give you a few definitions, some that I came up with myself, some that I found online, just to give you a good idea of what exactly it is. Romanticizing your life is making the most out of the life that you live, the life that you already have, finding joy, love, and peace within yourself, appreciating the simple pleasures in life, and or making the most out of the present. I actually like that last one the best, making the most out of the present, because I think a lot of people kind of have the definition a little mixed up. All right, so to save time, I did my brows off camera just so we can, get through this really quick. I wanted to talk about this topic because this is something that I've recently started doing, just because I've realized that I'm the type of person who lives in the future instead of appreciating and, making the best out of the present. For example, I've been in my apartment for 2 years and I have not really put a lot of thought into fully decorating it. Like every now and then I entertain the idea and I'll go buy like a few things to make myself feel like I'm decorating, but I never really finish it. So there isn't one finished room in my apartment. And the problem with this is the reason why I never really finished it is because I talked myself out of it every time I started. I kept telling myself there's no point in really putting money into this or putting effort into this, putting time into this, making this a priority, because this is just temporary, and honestly, this isn't even really like my ideal space. So I have a pretty nice apartment. I don't know if I would say that it's a luxury apartment. I don't know. I guess it could be considered luxury. I don't know. It's not like fully renovated, so it doesn't have like stainless steel appliances, hardwood floors. I have carpet all around, which I don't like. Is it nice for what it is? Yes. But ideally, I would prefer something else. So I kept telling myself, like, you might as well just wait until you're in the space that you really, really want, the space that fits your aesthetic, the space that looks the way you want it to look, a space that you're really, really proud of. You might as well wait for that before you really put time and energy into your space. So one day, I don't even know what triggered this, but one day I just had this thought, like, why do you have to wait to make your space comfortable and to be happy about your space? Why do you have to wait for that until you're in a whole different space? Like, why can't you make the best out of what you have right now? Like I said, I don't know what triggered that thought, but that really like set a fire in me and really made me change my mindset, because I realized I'm constantly waiting for something else to happen, or I'm constantly waiting for myself to be in a different season of my life or a different place in my life in order for me to really be grateful for what I had. And once I noticed that I was doing it with my apartment, I realized that I was doing it in a lot of other areas of my life too. Like with my car, I don't have a luxury car. I have a regular car. I mean, it's nice, it's reliable. It was brand new when I got it, fresh off the truck. But when I really think about how I treat that car, it just makes me think, like, when I get something nicer than this, like when I really get my dream car, would I treat it the way that I'm treating my car right now? No, I wouldn't. And it just made me think, like, you really gotta start appreciating what you already have and making the most out of what you already have, instead of constantly waiting to change your behaviors and change your attitude once you have certain things. And I didn't even realize that the steps I took after that were considered romanticizing my life until I really sat down and thought about it. Because honestly, a lot of people's definition of romanticizing your life is, I don't know if I want to say it's wrong, but it's definitely different than what I have in mind. Like, a lot of people feel like romanticizing your life is getting a lot of material things or like trying to live a life of luxury. And I mean, while that can be true for some people, I don't really think that's necessarily romanticizing your life. And this is why. I feel like when you look at it as acquiring a lot of like items or like transforming your lifestyle, that kind of defeats the purpose. Because to me, romanticizing your life is making the best out of what you have in the present, making the best out of the present moment, making the best out of what is already your reality. It's kind of hard to do that when you're trying to go to like outside sources, like to bring outside things in, if that makes sense. Because then it's like, that's not really your life. You're kind of either making a new life or you're chasing after somebody else's life. And that's not to say that you can't romanticize your life and still have wants that are like, you know, materialistic or whatever. You can very much do that. But the whole idea, in my opinion, is really making the most out of your current present life. So like I said, one example of this in my life was my apartment. I live in a pretty nice apartment, but I kept putting off decorating and really making it homey because I was just waiting for something else. Like, I was waiting for what my idea of a nice apartment was. And then I eventually snapped out of it and said to myself, look, and actually I think it was when I renewed my lease. When I renewed my lease and I was like, okay, you about to be here for another year. You need to make the most out of the situation because you're never going to be happy here if you're constantly chasing after the idea of something else. And also, let me say, just because I decided to get comfortable here does not mean that my goal has changed. I still have the goal to have a really nice place, whether it's, you know, me buying a house or me like living in a condo or like a high rise with floor to ceiling windows, a lot of lighting, hardwood floors, stainless steel appliances, stuff like that. Like, that is still the goal, to have a nice space that really fits my vibe. But in the meantime, until I get there, I'm going to love what I already have. So I made the decision probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago to really start decorating my apartment. And I'm loving it already. Like, I'm not rushing myself. I'm just picking out things that I really, really like, one thing at a time, and just cultivating the type of vibe that I really, really want. And the cool thing about romanticizing your life is that you can kind of create the vibe that goes with what your goal thing is in the present, if that makes sense. If you lost me, I'm about to come back and get you. So for example, with my like dream place, whether it's an apartment, a house, condo, whatever. Sorry, I gotta blend this into my hairline some more. If I stop just thinking about like the finishes and like what the flooring looks like or like the amount of light that comes in there, if I stop thinking about all that stuff and I think about like the actual vibe, it seems a lot more attainable in the present to me right now. So I realized that some of the things that I really want in my future place are attainable right now. So I started thinking like, okay, what do I actually want the vibe to be like in that space? I want it to be cozy. If you didn't know, I'm like a minimalist. I don't like a whole lot of color patterns, prints, and no, I'm not just going with like the trends and what social media says is the aesthetic right now. Like, this has always been my thing. Like, my mom will tell you, I have always been into minimalistic things and never really liked a whole lot of like loud stuff. So I literally just started creating that in the space that I'm in now. I chose my color scheme. I looked up like inspo on Pinterest and Instagram, and I just started creating that space that I really, really want. And while I know it will look much better when I'm in the type of place that I want, I'm still making the best out of what I have right now. And it's making me feel so good. Like, I love being home. I mean, I've always loved being home, but now like I'm actually proud of my space. I noticed that I never really wanted visitors. And yes, I am like an introvert these days. I don't really like being very social. Like, I prefer to just be in the house and get my money's worth of my rent. I also noticed that I got really, really nervous whenever I was having guests because I wasn't proud of my space. I never finished it. It just didn't look like, I felt like it didn't really fit me because I never made it fit me. I never felt like I was in the position to be able to make it fit me. It was like kind of like I didn't really feel like I was worth having like a well put together space, because this wasn't like my idea. Like if you take all the things away, this wasn't really my idea of like where I wanted to be, if that makes sense. So now I'm just like really proud of my space, and you know, I just feel a lot more at home here. I never really allow myself to get comfortable places. That's another thing that I noticed, but that's from me moving so much when I was a kid. So, you know, that played a factor in it as well. But overall, I was just longing for something else instead of really living in the present and thinking like, what can I do right now to be happy with where I am and what I already have? So really like putting time and energy into making my space something that I really, really liked was an example of me romanticizing my current life. And then, like I said, with my car, I started taking better care of my car because I realized that I have to start practicing gratitude right now, and not only being grateful for, you know, the big things. Like you got to be grateful for the small things too. You want God to be able to trust you with those big things. How is he going to trust you with the big things if he can't even trust you to be grateful for the small things? How is God going to trust me with that Mercedes GLE that I want if I can't be grateful for the Hyundai that I have, if I can't take care of the Hyundai that I have right now? And when I really sat down and thought about it, I kind of started to get a little emotional, because I realized like it's really small stuff that can show gratitude. Like, you know how like we be telling men all the time, sometimes it's just the small things. Like you don't have to do big gestures. Like I just want small things sometimes. It's the same thing with God and with like manifesting things. I believe manifestation comes from God. So don't get in the comments talking all crazy. To me, it comes from God, but whatever, y'all believe whatever y'all want to believe. Anyway, I wanted God to be able to trust me with the bigger things, like the things that I actually want. And I realized like he's never going to give me those things if I don't learn how to be grateful. Like you got to be grateful, period, not just be grateful for certain things. And another example of this is with body image, or like, you know, just your body, period. All my life I struggled with wanting to be thicker. I always thought I was way too skinny, and I guess that came from like people picking on me for being so small. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but if you grew up skinny, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. People made it seem so negative, and not everybody. I'm not saying that everybody made it seem like it was bad that I was small, but a lot of people did make me feel bad about being a smaller girl. So I always wanted to be thicker, and I found myself, especially after I had my son, because I lost a lot of weight from breastfeeding and then just stressing, period, from, you know, just trying to adjust to new mom life. I found myself always being like, I can't wait until I gain weight. I can't wait till I get my weight back. I can't wait until, you know, I look the way I used to, or not even the way I used to. Like I wanted to be thicker than that. Cause, okay, backstory. So before I got pregnant, that same year I started going to the gym. January 1st of that year, this was 2020. January 1st of 2020, I started working out heavy. Like I was lifting heavy weights, I was bulking, so I was eating a whole lot of calories, and I got thick. I went from like 125 pounds to 140 pounds, and I loved that weight on me. And it's like I was there for a few months, and then I got pregnant. So pregnancy, of course, your body just changes. So I was already like insecure with my body then. And then after I had my son and I lost all that weight, I was like stressed. I just found myself, like I said, constantly being like, I can't wait until I gain weight. I can't wait until I can look good in my clothes again, or, you know, I can wear this kind of stuff again so that I can feel confident. And then I was listening to a podcast one day randomly in the car. I think it was, I don't remember what it's called, but it was Tika Sumpter and someone else. I don't remember the girl's name, but whatever Tika Sumpter's podcast is, that's what it was. And they were talking about, because they're moms too, they were talking about how you have to learn how to love your body for what it is at that present moment. So she was talking about how, you know, she had recently had a kid, or I don't know if it was recently, but she was talking about how like when she had a child, she wanted to lose the baby weight and she just wasn't losing it. And she was like just wearing, you know, clothes that she didn't really feel beautiful in. And she just kept telling herself like, when I lose weight, I'm gonna look so good in my clothes. When I lose weight, I'm gonna get to wear this. When I lose weight, I'm gonna be so confident. And then she said one day she was just like, girl, what are you gonna do about the body that you have right now? Because we don't know when that's gonna happen. So like, what are you doing right now? We can't keep living in the future, because if you're only gonna be happy in the future, once you get to that point, there's still gonna be something else in the future that you're looking forward to, and you won't be able to be happy when you're at your destination, because then there's gonna be another destination. It's like the destination is always gonna be fleeting if you don't learn how to be happy in the present. So she said she started buying clothes that looked good on the body that she had in that moment, and although it wasn't the body that she really wanted, she was able to be confident with what she had. And I think I already said this, but I think some people feel like if they get too comfortable, or if they start being happy where they are in the present, then they'll get complacent and they won't ever want more, or their goals are just gonna like disappear. And that's not true at all. Like, two things can be true at once. You can be happy with where you are in the moment, or you can be content, not even content. You can have joy. Let's use that word. You can have joy in the present and still have goals for the future and be working towards those goals. Your goals might change, but they're not going to just miraculously go away just because you started appreciating what you already have. So I started buying clothes that looked good on my small frame. I figured out how to accentuate the features that I really, really liked and that I was happy with, and how to not bring so much attention to the features that I didn't really like at the time. And I started to feel a lot more confident because I wasn't constantly beating up on myself, telling myself that I was only beautiful if I looked this way and not how I looked in the moment. And while I was doing that, where's my brush? Like, while I was making myself happy and joyous where I was still working towards my goal of gaining my weight back. And to me, that is so much more enjoyable than sitting back constantly saying, oh, when I get to this point, I'm going to be happy. When I get to this point, I'm going to feel beautiful. When I get to this point, I'm going to feel confident. Like, what about right now? You can literally feel that now and then. So aside from taking care of what you already have now and accepting what is and being happy with what is, another way to romanticize your life is to make experiences out of everything. Things that seem really small and insignificant, you can make experiences out of them. And also things that you just have to do that you don't really enjoy doing, make experiences out of them. To me, that is a very easy way to romanticize your life. Things like cleaning up around the house, turn on some music, like blast your music real loud, even if you just want to put headphones on because you don't want everybody to hear your music. Put some headphones on, turn on the music that you really, really like, light a candle, your favorite candle. Like, it's small stuff that will really boost your mood and will really transform how you think about your everyday tasks that you really dread doing. One thing I really hate doing is laundry. And I mean, I don't mind washing the clothes, but I hate folding the clothes and putting them away. That's my biggest issue. So I started turning on a new show, or I mean, not even a new show, but like I just started turning on a good YouTube video or a good show on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and sitting on my floor and folding on my clothes while I'm watching a good show. Because then I'm focused on something else. It's like I'm doing what I need to do, but I'm focused on something that's actually entertaining me and actually making me feel good about my present moment. I really feel like that's what romanticizing your life is all about. And it's really like a mindfulness thing, because it's something that you just have to like train your mind to do. You have to train your mind to see the positive in every situation, because your mind isn't naturally just going to take you there. Especially when you have like big goals and big dreams and they seem so far from where you are in your reality. There are a lot of things that are going to trigger you, and there are a lot of things that are going to like bring you back down to earth once you start appreciating where you are. But you have to train your mind to stay with it. Like, you have to train your mind to stick with those positive thoughts. Because like I said, I had started decorating my apartment a bunch of times. Did I ever finish? No, because I talked myself out of it. Once I started, I kept telling myself, you don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing this. You know this is not where you really want to be permanently. You know you want to be somewhere else, so don't even get comfortable here. I really started making experiences out of everything, especially once I had my son, because I noticed that I didn't really have a lot of time to do a lot of things that are considered luxuries. So I had to find other ways to self-care. Like, my self-care started looking real different. It wasn't always taking a long bubble bath or drinking wine every night. It wasn't always that, because it couldn't always be that. I didn't have time for that every day. And I wanted to be able to indulge in self-care every day. I wanted to be able to romanticize my life every day. So I had to find like practical ways to do that. And I did that through making experiences out of my everyday tasks. Taking a shower. I told y'all this in my shower routine or my feminine hygiene routine, one of the two, that I take really long showers. I be taking like 20-minute showers. And if it's bad for the environment, I'm sorry, but that's my self-care at this point. That is how I romanticize my life in the morning. I hate mornings. Like, I won't even say I'm not a morning person, because I'm not the type of person who wakes up and I'm just like grumpy. I'm not like that. But I prefer to be able to sleep in. And the one thing that really annoys me about parenthood is the fact that you can't wake up when you want to. Like, you're being woken up by a toddler. And in my case, I'm being woken up by a toddler smacking me on my head. Now, sometimes he wakes me up by like kissing me and stuff, which you know, I love that. But that's not always how it goes. And sometimes he wakes me up at the crack of dawn when I've been up all night while he was sleeping. So I like to enjoy slow mornings because I'm waking up earlier than I really want to. I allow myself to just have a nice slow morning, because now I got hella time before I gotta be out the door. So let me make the most out of this time. Let me do things that are gonna make me feel good. Let me do things that are gonna put me in a better mood, because I did not want to wake up at 6:30 this morning. So I started taking my time in the shower. I do my little 15 to 20 minute shower routine. And that is like the highlight of my morning, because I'm really taking time to take care of myself. I'm doing something that's just for me. And I don't have any interruptions. I put my son in the high chair and I do what I gotta do. And when I really, really wanna be in a good mood, I make me a nice breakfast, whether I'm making some like fried potatoes or pancakes, waffles. I mean, it could be a very simple breakfast, but me eating breakfast also makes me feel good in the mornings. Making a smoothie, an acai bowl, like small things really change my attitude early in the morning. I like to listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos while I'm in the shower. That's another thing that makes me feel real good in the morning. I'm really just winging this, Lana, because I'm getting motivated. And you know, what you listen to and what you allow your brain to intake really affects your mood. So I always like to make sure I am intaking positivity in the morning. That liner looks so dark. I feel like I never like this when I put it on, so this is probably gonna be a mistake. But, and then like, oh, let me take these clips out. But yeah, moral of the story is learn to appreciate the life that you have right now. It does not mean that you won't still have your goals and that you can't still attain those goals that you have. It just means that you're learning to find joy and to find peace and to find happiness in present moments. Like I said before, your destination will always be fleeting if you never learn how to be grateful for what you have. Because let's say one of your goals is to have $10,000 in the bank. That's never going to be your last goal. That's your goal for right now, because that's where you want to be in comparison to where you are right now. But once you get there, you're going to want something else. If you don't learn how to be happy right now with $0, $10, $100, $1,000, you will not be happy when you get that 10,000, because you're going to get there and you're going to be like, okay, that was nice. What's the next goal? Okay, now my next goal is $1 million. And you're not going to be happy till you get that $1 million. Then when you get the $1 million, you're still not going to be happy. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's always going to be fleeting. So just appreciate your life, appreciate the things that you have, appreciate the people that you have, appreciate the space that you have, the car that you drive. Take care of those things, make experiences out of the things that you dread doing every single day. Or even if you don't dread doing some of that stuff every day, still make an experience out of it so that you can enjoy it even more. And God will see that you are appreciative of what He has already given you, and He will multiply what you already have. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all like content like this, just comment down below, let me know. If you have any examples of ways that you romanticize your life, feel free to comment that down below as well. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe if you didn't already do that. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.